and welcome to SAP Analytics Cloud, the journey to FedRAMP certification. My name is Penny Klein, and I'm happy to be the facilitator for today's discussion, along with my esteemed panel from SAP National Security Services, NS2. I have over 30 years of experience in cybersecurity. More than 25 of those were in program management and leadership capacity. I have worked in both the public and private sectors to include DoD, federal agencies, industry, and associations. Currently, I am the Senior Director of the Enterprise Security Compliance Team, managing the security posture of multiple SAP NS2 products and cloud environments to include ensuring our products receive and maintain their FedRAMP authorizations. Can you go to the next slide, please? SAP NS2 is an independent U.S. subsidiary of the global enterprise software company, SAP. We are 100% U.S.-based facilities and staff, and we are built on more than 15 years of experience supporting government entities and private companies who have special information assurance needs. SAP NS2 offers a full suite of world-class enterprise applications, analytics, database, cybersecurity, and cloud solutions from SAP, with specialized levels of security and support to meet the unique mission requirements of the U.S. national security and critical infrastructure customers. Next. SAP NS2 has successfully navigated the FedRAMP requirements to bring our federal, DoD, state, and tribal customers SAP products, which have been secured and brought into our FedRAMP cloud environments. These products include our first FedRAMP product, SuccessFactors, which is a human capital management system, and then we added payroll, and most recently SAP Analytics Cloud, SAC, into the federal cloud environment. Our FedRAMP journey began in 2016 with our SuccessFactors product. We were selected by the FedRAMP Program Management Office as a candidate for the Joint Authorization Board JAB Connect program. We married our two environments, one for FedCiv and one for DoD, and they share a management plane. In 2017, we were granted both a JAB Provisional Authorization to Operate, a PATO, as well as a DISA PA. From there, we added the EC Payroll product as a significant change, as this product integrates with SuccessFactors. Understanding the SAP product suite should integrate with each other to provide the most comprehensive picture for our customers. We rebranded our environment to the Cloud Intelligence Enterprise. Shortly after that, we brought SAP Analytics Cloud into the federal environment, which is the focus of today's discussion. We are expecting to bring SAP Cloud Platform into the DoD environment in 2021. Currently, SAP NS2 manages and maintains two FedRAMP environments. The first one is for the federal, state, and local customers at the FedRAMP moderate baseline, and as I mentioned, is JAB authorized. The other is for DoD at the FedRAMP Plus Impact Level 4 and has received a DISA PA. The DoD environment is different as it uses the DoD CAP for access and implements the IL4 controls along with privacy control overlay. We originally mirrored both environments so that the federal side also meets the Impact Level 4 controls and privacy controls, and as I mentioned, both environments share a common management plane. Per DISA, when we introduce a new component since then, we first bring it into the federal environment, and then DoD will rely on the JAB approval and do their review of the IL4 privacy controls prior to issuing a DISA approval. SAP NS2 plans to continue our FedRAMP journey. We are currently in process to incorporate the SAP Cloud Platform, SCP, which helps the customers build integrations and extensions. Upon authorization, we can offer our customer a Platform as a Service, PaaS, Software as a Service, SaaS, package, and the SCP will be the foundation for the SAP products going forward. Additionally, we are looking to include SAP Integrated Business Planning, IBP, as a supply chain capability. We are excited about the opportunity to provide these solutions to customers by working closely with our FedRAMP JAB leads and the FedRAMP Program Management Office. Today, we would like to share our FedRAMP journey with SAC from 3 different perspectives: customer, architecture, and security, compliance, and engineering. Each of our panel members will provide insight from one of these perspectives. I would like to introduce these panel members now. First up is David Barge, who will provide insight from a customer perspective. David is a cloud solution manager at SAP National Security Services. He has extensive experience with the intelligent enterprise solutions from SAP and how they deliver value to customers in secured environments. Second, from a security, compliance, and engineering perspective is Thomas Hoffaker, who serves as the cybersecurity architect and information systems security manager at SAP NS2. He was the second person to join the SAP NS2 Cloud line of business in 2014. He has previously worked as a federal employee for the Defense Logistics Agency, Army First Information Operations Command, Army Regional CERT Europe, and DoD Education Activity, and holds numerous industry certifications. The third panelist is Scott Mahalik, who will provide an architecture perspective. Scott Mahalik is the head of the cloud architecture at SAP NS2, providing SAP products through FedRAMP accredited systems to the federal, civilian, and DoD sectors. Scott has been dealing with development and operations of federal and regulated systems for the past 15 years. Now that you know our panelists, let's begin with Thomas. Thomas, can you provide how the security controls were identified as well as the process to get SAC authorized?
Sure, Penny. FedRAMP at the moderate baseline level specifies 325 controls. These controls are derived from the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, Special Publication 853 Control Catalog. The FedRAMP program added additional controls beyond the FISMA moderate baseline tailored to cloud service providers and specific control parameters to create the FedRAMP moderate baseline, and also did so for the low and high impact baselines respectively. SAC was added to the existing FedRAMP provisional authority to operate as a significant change. This allowed SAP NS2 to build on the already existing authorization and just ensure that SAC met those controls.
Thank you. Scott, the SAC architecture had to be able to take into consideration these security controls. How did you go about ensuring, from a technical perspective, that these identified security controls would be architected into the build?
Well, Penny, we started with making sure that we had a very solid understanding of the security requirements involved in the production of these systems that we were putting forward for accreditation and that are going to be providing services to the DoD and federal civilian agency spaces. We did that by coordinating very closely with our security teams in both the area of security engineering and security architecture. We also have to work very closely with SAP's engineering and architects to make sure that we fully understood all of the capabilities and communications that were happening. We work from a perspective that, foremost, we have to make sure that the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of the system is absolutely fundamental to ensuring that our customers have both a reliable and safe and secure method to access the data that they are looking and housing with us within our system. We started this by building off of an already accredited infrastructure through utilizing AWS GovCloud for the foundation of both of these accredited systems. We always want to make sure that as we're building this in, and making sure that we are keeping the concepts of both least privilege and least functionality foremost in our minds so that there is less of an attack vector for anyone to think of.
Thank you. David, since SAP developed SAC as well as some other products for commercial use, and then NS2 secures them to the FedRAMP requirements. Is the FedRAMP version of SAP the same as SAP's commercial version?
The short answer is yes, Penny, and I get asked that very often because people are concerned about what they might develop in a commercial cloud versus a secured cloud like at NS2. And the answer is we use the exact same code line. That said, there are a couple of differences. Number one, we're in a higher security environment. So we don't offer what you would traditionally find in a multi-tenant cloud software where customers' data is just logically separated. We actually break it out so that all customer data is physically separated from one customer to the next, which is a much better way to provide security to your customers, ensure them that their data is secure. The only other difference with between the NS2 version and the SAP's commercial cloud is there are some options for customers to use third-party products to process their data, and today we do not allow that. Our customers can certainly connect to a lot of data, but we don't allow data to leave to go into these third-party sites where we do not have assurances that they're completely secure. That's it in terms of differences.
Well, following up on that response, if I was a customer, can I connect my data that's on-prem and in the cloud from the SAP Analytics Cloud? And additionally, can I migrate my SAC content from SAP's commercial cloud into the SAP NS2 cloud?
Yes, and again, that's a major concern for customers because a lot of customers are new to the cloud and they're used to having their data on-premise. Maybe some of them do have some data in the cloud. But the answer is no matter where their data is, whether it's on-premise or in the cloud, they can connect to it. I know I mentioned earlier that under certain conditions, we don't allow data out, but that has to do with processing outside, like a third party. Customers that want to bring data into the secured environment where they can be assured it's secure, they can bring it in from their on-premise or their secured data sources, whether they're applications or database or what have you. Now, the second part of your question about migration, we do have plenty of customers that already have functioning systems in SAP's commercial cloud, but for various reasons, they want to move into NS2's secured environment. There are tools exist within Analytics Cloud that allow customers to do that. They can certainly bring in content that they've built over in the commercial cloud into NS2's environment.
Great, thanks so much for that answer.
Sure.
Thomas, how does security play into the ability for our customers to connect outside of the SAP NS2 cloud to an on-prem system or others? And does this cause concern with the FedRAMP requirements?
So Penny, customers can connect to their SAC tenant to various data sources. Connections to other systems present a potential risk. The risk of connecting to another system, either on-prem or another cloud system, is documented by an Interconnection Security Agreement, or ISA. This agreement documents what data flows between the systems and what type of data it is. Is that sensitive data? Is that PII? The ISA also identifies points of contact in case there is a security incident. The requirements in a template for an ISA are provided in NIST Special Publication 800-47, for which NIST will be publishing an updated public draft in 2020, which will hopefully include specific language around interconnecting cloud service offerings.
Okay, wow, this sounds like it can be complicated getting customers data from the source to where it's needed while staying with the security parameters. Scott, from an architectural perspective, what are some technologies that can be architected into a solution that would allow for secure data transfer and may have been used with SAC?
So Penny, one of the things that we are always making sure that is happening is the complete protection of any of our customers' data. And that's true whether it's in transit, where it's coming at risk, where it's being handled within our system and without. So any data in transit, we'll make sure that it's encrypted using at least TLS 1.2 communication paths and HTTPS encrypted data communications. Anytime data is coming at rest, we always make sure those locations are encrypted, and we're making sure that the processes that we're using are meeting the appropriate groups validations. We're also going to make sure that we're controlling who has access to the data. We're going to do that through access control, utilizing role-based access control methodologies. We're going to utilize multi-factor authentication wherever access is being granted. And of course, we're going to make sure that least privileges in that. A person has to have a need to know in order for them to ever be able to gain access to any data within the system. So we're going to utilize tools that are going to allow us to have continuous monitoring process. And we're going to have IR tools that are in there, instant response tools, to make sure that if anything is happening in the environment, we're getting automated responses and communications to the security professionals and the operations staff to make sure that they can take immediate actions or have automated actions take place automatically and alert us to those actions having been done, so that we can evaluate them and we can make the appropriate actions happen for the safety of our customers and our customers' data.
Thanks. Thomas, back to you. Can you share some lessons learned that SAP NS2 got when going through this journey?
Sure. So coordination amongst the various teams dealing with compliance, architecture, and system engineering is key. An example of that is performing vulnerability scanning early in the process is key to ensure that the compliance requirements can be met. As more underlying cloud services are built on immutable containers that are replaced rather than patched, traditional vulnerability scanning may no longer be feasible. Vulnerability scanning has been conducted as part of the container build process, and each time a new version of the container is produced will probably be the method in the future and has been adopted in preliminary guidance by FedRAMP Program Office.
Okay. Back to you, Scott. Can you share some challenges that you faced when architecting this solution?
Really, Penny, one of the largest challenges that we faced for the entire process is evaluating an SAP commercial set of products, in this case, SAC, and making sure that we have all of the components in place and that the product supports a fully self-encapsulated US-based deployment. So when you are getting SAC from SAP NS2 in our environment, what's accredited is a completely separated environment. It's not actually in any way communicating to any of the external SAP systems. It's fully deployed by us, it's fully controlled by us, and it's fully protected by us. We are in constant communication with our SAP colleagues and engineers and architecture in order to make sure that anything comes up whenever they have updates and patches are still going to meet the requirements that we have, and we can help to inform them of what the appropriate methods are for moving these products forward so that we can continue to meet all the accreditation standards as SAP continues to develop for these platforms.
Figured out that it was really a process to get SAP approved within our FedRAMP boundary. I am sure many folks would like to know, why use SAP Analytics Cloud instead of another solution in the market? David, let's start with you.
Sure, I'm happy to handle that one. My first thought, Penny, is that there aren't a lot of enterprise-level analytics solutions out there in secured environments. And the key phrase here is enterprise level. So Analytics Cloud is designed to scale up from just a few folks up to tens of thousands of users, all using it simultaneously. So if you think about all of the analytics products out of the market, some folks say, well, Excel is the most widely used analysis product, but it's very narrow in what you can do with that. Whereas Analytics Cloud offers a broad functionality scope. So for example, we have business intelligence, we have predictive capabilities, we have planning capabilities, and you can even write your own applications. So it's a very broad enterprise level product, and that is very hard for anyone to meet that bar. And finally, Analytics Cloud SAP is actually designed to integrate with a broad range of enterprise level applications, which if you think about SAP, that's really our sweet spot is enterprise level applications to run your organization. So that lines up very well with all of SAP's expertise with the exception that we're actually in a secured environment.
Great, thanks. Scott, what extra security would a customer get from SAC than another product?
Well, so when we're looking at security, obviously NS2 was founded on security. Security is in our name. So our entire job is to make sure everything's secure. What are the extra things that you're going to get? Well, one of the extra things that especially our federal civilian agencies get is the fact that we have a management plane that is actually shared and accredited by both the federal civilian FedRAMP as well as the enhanced controls over DoD IL4. And as that's true, we have to ensure that the security across all of our environments is up to snuff and able to pass those rigorous security tests that we do annually, and that our continuous monitoring is happening and our evaluations are happening daily, weekly, monthly, and across the board. I mean, the other great advantage that we have for the deployment of any components is we are a wholly owned subsidiary of SAP. Our colleagues are the SAP security team, the SAP architect team, and the SAP engineering team. Whenever there is an issue, we have the full scope and support of SAP to bring that forward and make sure that they are resolved in an appropriate way to ensure security and the stability of our environment for our customers.
Super. Thanks so much for telling us that. Okay, and the last question on our particular journey goes to Thomas. We understand that customers need analytics to accomplish their jobs. In your professional opinion, what does having a FedRAMP stamp of approval mean?
So, Penny, for the federal customer, it means that they'll be able to use SAC quicker than the traditional process of system authorization. They can leverage an existing FedRAMP authorization that allows them to evaluate the risk, implement any security controls that are shared or a customer responsibility, validate and test that they are indeed implemented, and then using the FedRAMP motto of do once, reuse many times, they can have their authorizing official grant an authority to operate. This dramatically decreases the time and burden of system authorization, allowing for quick use of the cloud service offering.
Oh, thank you. So this actually ends the panel portion of our presentation today. However, many of you submitted questions when you registered, and we'd like to take the next few minutes and address those questions. Again, these are questions that were submitted during the registration process and not live. First question is, how are SAP cloud migrations, being handled? David, you did address this earlier, but is there something else you'd like to add?
Sure. So one of the things that can happen is that when customers have certain types of content, they might have used some specialized functions, or say they might have their own R server or something that they want to connect to for customized calculations and visualizations, and we can help hook them up to those. It's the same with data connections. If a customer has specialized security in their environment, we can help with that. I mean, the system is designed to be very easy to set up, but we're also very aware that every customer situation is unique, and we have a tremendous amount of experience in helping guiding customers through that process to become productive.
Great. Okay, the next question is the best resources that explicitly provide the threshold requirements to achieve FedRAMP certification. Thomas, I think this one falls into your realm.
Yes. So the best resource is on the FedRAMP.gov website. There are numerous agency playbooks that can be used to address the various scenarios of authorization. There's also playbooks that deal with vulnerability management and what the thresholds are for the continuous monitoring aspect.
Okay. Can you also address the question that's on our SAC timeline?
So SAC has a system authorization or was added, so it is essentially ready to be used by customers. So if you want to potentially use the cloud offering, please contact SAP NS2.
Okay. So the next question was, where is SAP in the FedRAMP process? As I mentioned earlier, we currently offer SuccessFactors, payroll, and SAC as cloud services on the federal side. On the DoD side, we offer SuccessFactors and payroll. Okay, Thomas, back to you. How is security provided in the cloud?
So we provide SAC and our other job authorized products based upon Amazon Web Services GovCloud. We have controls that they provide us fully inheritable. Then we also have controls that we provide to the customer as inheritable. Controls that are a shared or a customer responsibility are implemented by the customer.
Okay, the next question, Scott, I think will be best for you to answer. How efficient is how efficient is reliability of cloud service?
So cloud service, when we're talking about the utilization of a service like AWS's GovCloud, is very reliable. Their reliabilities and their requirements for their SLAs are underneath what our reliability and SLAs are what's needed for our customers to ensure that we can maintain all of the SLAs correctly. It gives us so much more than that in the reliability, though. It gives us the ability, without pre-building a whole bunch of equipment that's sitting there waiting for work to come in, to expand the system and grow as need happens for our customers, so that unanticipated things that we know are going to happen in the environment can happen seamlessly and transparently to the end user without all the additional latencies that you would usually find and the delays if you're in your own on-premise system.
Okay, the next question is, SAP Cybersecurity Gaps for the F-35 Parts Management Program has challenges. What is the plan to close the security gaps in the SAP databases? Well, we recommend that any specific cybersecurity issues with the SAP products be addressed with the government and or your information system security officer, and then escalated via the standard technology or technical support channels to SAP technical support. Any discussions of security gaps on a weapon systems like the F-35 isn't really appropriate for this venue. So we're going to move along. Most frequent challenge agencies face while pursuing FedRAMP certification. Thomas?
Understanding the overall FedRAMP process is a challenge. Many customers still haven't used FedRAMP. While you have to still dedicate resources to providing risk evaluation and addressing security risks, and grant an ATO by virtue of using the cloud, those aren't eliminated and those are still required.
Okay. David, I think you can address the next question. Who is already using this solution in the U.S. federal government?
Well, we have we have many customers using a variety of products. We do have customers using Analytics Cloud. That said, generally when we're working within a government or in a public forum such as this, we do not name agencies. The way it normally works is if a customer is interested, they'll have a meeting with the account team, and if they want to speak with other people that are using it, at that point they'll ask about other agencies or organizations they're interested in, and they'll set up that meeting so they can talk. But most government organizations do not like to publicly announce, which products they're using. It's quite a bit different than the commercial world, where of course we'll have the wall of logos and stuff. We don't do that with government agencies.
That's fair. Thanks. Next question. A helpful understanding of compliance during the FedRAMP policy process and better understanding of the acquisition processes. Thomas, you kind of answered this, but do you want to add anything else?
Yeah, so the FedRAMP website, as I mentioned, has several of the playbooks. They also offer frequently asked questions. There's specifically content that addresses contractual clauses if you're looking at writing a solicitation for a cloud service. In addition, They have 3 training classes and also blog entries that address specific situations that customers have encountered.
Oh, that was helpful. Okay, next question. Time and effort for SAP to obtain the FedRAMP certification. You might as well take this, Thomas.
Sure. So for this effort, we used a significant change request, and those can generally be accomplished in 3 to 4 months, depending upon the situation. For overall achieving FedRAMP authorization, the FedRAMP PMO and numerous commercial publications have published studies of the time it takes. And again, it all depends upon the situation of how ready a system is to meet the federal requirements.
Yeah. I will add to that if you have your management support behind you, it certainly helps the process along because everybody plays well together. Okay, next question. Are standards for the collection, storage, and dissemination of cloud data being developed intra-agency? And if so, is there authority to compel compliance? Scott, can you address?
Well, I can address at least significant components of this. The first thing that I'll say is standards for collection, storage, and dissemination of data across cloud for federal agencies, those are going to originate with policies and regulations that are coming from those government bodies, such as NIST and NARA. Each of the authorizing officials are really responsible for determining where their data can go and be processed and connect to. It is your data, and as the owner of that data, you need to make sure that you are following what is appropriate for your agency and within those rules. And within the cloud today, there are many technologies in order to share data and to integrate things and be able to use it, but it's all of our responsibilities to make sure that those integrations are used wisely and appropriately.
Yep. Okay, the next question is strategic solution and platform capability expansions over the next 12 months and beyond. I'll go ahead and take that because I kind of talked to that a bit before. We are not done with this FedRAMP journey, and we are going to continue. We are looking to add capabilities in the FedRAMP JAB environments as well as DoD. That would include the SAP Cloud Platform, as I discussed, IBP, other supply chains, and I'm sure there's going to be other SAP products that we'll be bringing in. If you have specific questions, please let us know and we can give you more details. Okay, what the main issues raised during certification were and how they were mitigated, overcome. Thomas, can you address some earlier? Can you add anything?
So I think those covered pretty much. I guess the thing I would address is cooperation and planning and coordination are the key elements that have to be addressed and need to be focused on.
Okay. The next question up is how to address the organizational culture of implementation. David, I think this one should go to you.
Yeah, that's sometimes it's easier to implement than to get everybody using it, that type of thing. So I would say what we see most of our customers doing is a phased approach. Just about every organization has existing analytics products. We would hope that they're SAP products, but we're not blind to the fact that there's a lot of products out there that folks use. So we don't normally, in fact, I'm going to say I don't think I've ever seen anybody just go for a big bang approach. We're just going to shut down all of our other products, and then we're just going to switch to this new one. It's normally a phased approach. And so I would say the most common one I see is actually with new use cases, applying the new solution like Analytics Cloud to these new use cases. And then over time, retiring existing ones as it makes sense in order to become more, consolidate into a new platform such as SAP Analytics Cloud. That's the method I see most often used.
Okay, thanks. The next question is, what is this going to cost in time and effort to get FedRAMP certification? Also, what is the cost benefit for getting the FedRAMP certification? We kind of covered the first question a few times, but Thomas, Do you have any cost benefit for getting the FedRAMP certification?
So the cost benefit, of course, is if you're a cloud provider and you want to deal with the federal government, meeting FedRAMP is one of those things that you need to have.
Okay, and again, next question, Thomas, will also go to you. Was the pursuit for a FedRAMP certification agency driven or JAB? If JAB, how did you develop the business case to get on the GSA selected vendors to support accreditation at that level?
So we added SAC as part of a significant change request to the existing JAB authorization. If you're interested in what it takes to get through that process, the FedRAMP.gov website provides the various playbooks, depending on if you go JAB or FedRAMP agency ATO. In addition, it also offers the business case PDF file that you can look at and fill out and submit to the JAB for Connect process consideration.
Okay, thanks. Scott, the next question wants to know about Xero Trust Level 5+ DoD satellite encrypted networks.
Well, so let me start with, we're definitely assuming that this is all about the DoD FedRAMP Plus Impact Level 5. So SAP NS2 is currently pursuing FedRAMP Plus authorization for SAC in the near future. Hopefully we'll have more news about that coming soon. Talking about encrypted networks and the way that we are communicating with different ones outside of what might be considered standard for communicating to a SaaS solution. Really, my highest recommendation is if you have an integration that you're looking to accomplish for one of your systems, contact us and let us actually work out based on the details of what you're trying to bring in. Because each one of these has its own interesting little quirks that we need to make sure are worked out on both sides in order to be successful.
Nice. Okay. Next question. Comparison made against other Five Eyes nation security certification processes, such as the PSPF and ISM for Australia and New Zealand. SAP NS2 is looking to enter the Five Eyes space. Stay tuned and contact, SAP NS2 with any of your requirements. However, FedRAMP is going to be outside of that talk as well. The last question goes to Thomas. The FedRAMP certification process and artifacts required during the process. Can you just kind of sum it up for us?
So I think the FedRAMP website gives the playbooks and the required documents. I think one of the key main documents is obviously the system security plan. The template for that is available along with all the attachments that go to that SSP. And so that is an extensive amount of documentation that has to be provided.
So this ends our discussion today on the SAP NS2 journey to FedRAMP for SAC. I truly want to thank the panelists for sharing their experiences with us today, and I want to thank you, the listener, for your time today. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to let us know.